The health of our intestines has a huge impact on our overall health. Many people only associate the intestines with digestion and absorption of food. However, in reality, they are a complex machine with their resident bacteria that strengthens our immunity, protects us from toxins, prevents bacterial and viral infections, and even regulates sleep and mood. Therefore, in this video, I will focus on different habits and elements of our life that damage the intestines, including the beneficial bacteria that live within them. Chronic stress is an important factor that can damage the intestines. As a result of repeated high-intensity stressful situations, the hypothalamus-pituitary-adrenal system is activated, resulting in the release of hormones, specifically glucocorticosteroids, including cortisol. It is important to know that these hormones disrupt the growth and activity of the intestinal microbiota, meaning the bacteria inhabiting the intestines. For example, an experiment conducted on animals showed that various stressors lead to a decrease in the level of beneficial bacteria from the Lactobacillus genus. It should be noted that similar observations have been made in humans. In scientific literature, we can find more and more publications where their authors indicate that long-term psychological stress disrupts the intestinal barrier and increases intestinal permeability. This in turn can lead to the passage of harmful substances from the digestive tract to other parts of our body, the intensification of allergic reactions, and even the emergence and exacerbations of autoimmune diseases. Antibiotics are not good for gut health because they not only destroy harmful bacteria, but also, unfortunately, kill beneficial bacteria. For this reason, it is recommended to take probiotics, that is, live cultures of beneficial bacteria and yeasts, during and after antibiotic therapy. Unfortunately, it must be realized that rebuilding the gut microbiome takes a very long time and can take several months. Therefore, it is a reasonable idea not to take antibiotics too often at every possible opportunity. When it comes to the misuse of antibiotics, it is impossible to ignore other medications. Specifically, I am referring to the excessive use of painkillers, including non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen, naproxen, diclofenac, acetylsalicylic acid, and indomethacin. These types of medications damage the intestinal mucosa and promote an unfavorable increase in its permeability. I came across a scientific study in which experts indicated that the permeability of the small intestine occurs in up to 70% of patients taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs for a long time, while damage to the mucosa occurs in about 40% of patients. In addition, people who often take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are more likely to develop ulcers, intestinal perforations, and narrowing of the intestine. I would like to pause for a moment and make a small request. If you find my videos helpful and would like to help this channel grow, please consider subscribing and, if possible, also clicking the bell icon next to it. That way you won't miss any valuable videos. Thank you very much, and now let's get back to the topic. Exposure to pesticides present in food can lead to intestinal inflammation, altered gut permeability, and disruption of the composition of bacteria in the digestive tract, which can damage the intestines. Therefore, I encourage you to purchase vegetables and fruits from reliable suppliers. If you don't have access to such suppliers, make sure to thoroughly wash the food before eating. You can also use a baking soda solution or an ozone food purifier for this purpose. I have also included infections with parasites on this list. Unfortunately, some of the parasites living in the digestive tract can damage the mucous membrane of the small or large intestine, which can promote the formation of ulcers and scarring. In the case of a severe invasion, in extreme cases the digestive tract may become blocked and intestinal obstruction may occur. You will learn how to protect yourself from infection with parasites in one of my upcoming videos. I will also briefly mention that bacterial infections, including pathogenic bacteria transmitted through food, have a negative effect on the intestines. I am referring to a bacterium called Campylobacter jejuni, which we can contract by consuming unpasteurized milk or undercooked poultry. Our intestines are also at risk from hyperglycemia, which is a long-term high level of blood glucose. This is the case for people with diabetes or insulin resistance. Researchers have shown that through certain biochemical processes, which I won't bore you with, hyperglycemia contributes to an unnatural increase in the permeability of the intestinal barrier, or colloquially speaking, a leaky gut. This in turn promotes a systemic inflammatory state. In any case, scientists have shown that dealing with elevated blood glucose levels restores the proper barrier function of the small intestine mucosa. It is also important to be aware that food allergies can be the cause of intestinal damage. I am referring to the situation where we are allergic to a specific product and do not eliminate it from our diet, but instead occasionally eat it. Experts point out that food allergies, and specifically the allergic reaction triggered by an allergen, can cause inflammation of the mucous membrane of the digestive tract, including the intestines. For example, we sometimes encounter allergic colitis in young children who are allergic to cow's milk proteins. Talking about food, I would like to say a few words about food additives. Generally, substances added to food products are widely accepted as safe for health. In my opinion, however, we should not have fully trust in all of them, especially when consumed in large quantities. An example of this is titanium dioxide, labeled as E171, which has whitening properties and can be found in chewing gums. Regarding the digestive tract, experts have proven that this ingredient disturbs the intestinal balance and favors the onset of intestinal inflammation. Fortunately, its use has been banned in many countries in the last year. It is advisable to exercise caution when it comes to carrageenan, also known as E407. This is a gel-forming substance derived from seaweed which can damage the intestinal mucosa and exacerbate the course of non-specific inflammatory bowel diseases. There are also some doubts concerning carboxymethylcellulose, also known as E466, which is a stabilizing substance. According to scientists, this food additive may disrupt the composition of the intestinal microbiome. When it comes to diet in general, I will briefly outline that consuming large amounts of sugar, trans fats, and fried foods, including not only fried meat but also fried flour products and potato chips, can disrupt the composition of bacteria in the intestines, weaken the integrity of the intestinal mucosa, increase the risk of colorectal cancer, and exacerbate inflammatory states in the intestines. In addition, I should mention that alcohol and smoking are also detrimental to intestinal health. For example, the harmful substances present in them increase the risk of developing Crohn's disease, one of the inflammatory bowel diseases, also disrupt the composition of the intestinal microbiota, and directly damage enterocytes, which are cells of the small intestine. If you are also interested in brain health, I encourage you to watch the video in which I discuss habits that can be harmful to your brain. To watch this video, just click on the thumbnail that appeared on the screen. Thank you for your attention today, and see you next time.